And if everyone don't mind, if you would please put your phones on silent or vibrate before the meeting gets started. Okay, thank you all. I have 6:35, so we're going to call this meeting to order. Pastor Carl, would you mind leading us in a word of prayer?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm here to pray. If I'd have known so many people were showing up, I would have prepared a sermon. But I will spare you that. I'll read from the words of our friend, the Apostle Paul, from 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 1 through 4. I urge all of us then that petitions, prayers, intercession, and thanksgiving be made for all people, for kings, presidents, mayors, council people, and all of us and all of you that are in authority, that we may live peaceful and quiet lives in all godliness and holiness. This is good, and it pleases God, our Savior, who wants all people to be saved and to come to a knowledge of the truth. And so, Lord, we come to the knowledge of truth that we need you so much desperately to do the things you've called us to do in these days. And as your leaders in this beautiful city, Lord, we humble ourselves in your presence and trust that your Holy Spirit gives us wisdom and guidance beyond our own knowledge and years of service. And Lord, we bless the citizens of this area to see godly things brought into our midst, and that we trust your wisdom overshadows our decisions and our conversations together as we stand in unity to bring glory to your name and to trust you for great legislation for this great city. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. And everyone says, amen. Amen. Bless you all.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you so much. All right. Would everybody join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, here we go. Madam Recorder, would you please call roll?
Mayor Tinnen.
Here.
Vice Mayor Duncan.
Present.
Commissioner Anderson.
Here.
Commissioner Gilmore.
Here.
Commissioner Walker.
Here. Thank you, Madam Recorder. Commissioners, before you have the reading of the October 9th, 2025 regular call meeting of the Board of Commissioners by the Recorder for approval. Is there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, we'll move on to a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes are approved as written with a 5-0 vote. Okay, let's see where we're going to start. Our baseball team isn't ready. I don't think we're still a few minutes. We're going to recognize them tonight. At this time, we're going to open up the podium for citizen comments, but this is not for the annexation. There's going to be a public hearing for the annexation when we get to that item on the agenda. But at this point, Mr. Ellis?
Yes, sir. We have a couple, three things tonight, but first, we'd like to begin with the graduation of the Goodlettsville Fire Department inaugural Fire Academy, Citizens Fire Academy. So, Chief Reeves, if you'll come forward.
That became friends and fellow citizens and teammates.
Congratulations to all of you. Thanks for taking the time and investing in the city. I'm going to jump back just a minute. When I made a comment about the public hearing, if there's anyone here that wants to speak, I'm going to open up the podium to the citizens. If it's not due to the annexation, if somebody else had a comment due to something else other than that within the city, if there's anyone that has a public comment, please make your way to the podium. Seeing no one make their way to the podium, we'll close that portion of the public hearing and move back on to Mr. Ellis.
Yes, sir. I'd like to take a moment and ask Mr. David Gillahan and Miss Susan Edwards if they come forward, please. These are two faces that are well recognized in the Goodlettsville community, but many years ago they had the vision and dream of creating a festival here on the grounds of City Hall, the Arts and Antiques Festival. And their vision and dream carried on for several years, and then they wanted to take a little bit of a break. Another group picked it up. That kind of played out. I went to David and said, hey, will you consider doing this again? And he said, no. I went back to David again, and he said no. So I called Susan, and that's where we are today. I just want to take a moment, and they are brother-in-law and sister-in-law, so that's the reason why I can joke like this. But one of the core fabrics of our community is festivals and events that brings our community together. And I just wanted to take tonight the opportunity to thank them for their work. Because really and truly, that one particular festival could have went away, and I'm looking for more festivals to take part in our community. I know not to ask David, but half of the city of Goodlettsville.
Thank you very much.
Present both of you all with a plaque of appreciation. Okay.
From the board, thank you guys so much.
Mr. Mayor, at this time, I'd like to ask Ms. Kimberly Lynn, who is chairing a project of rebranding the Goodlettsville area, and give us an update on timelines and work that is taking part in that.
Sure. So last month, you all approved an agreement with Chandler Thinks for our community branding initiative, and we want to take this time to give you a status update so that you regularly hear and the public regularly hears what's going on with that project. So the consultants went to work right away and created a one-question survey via a QR code that we were able to use at Goodfest in the park. And about 100 people were able to respond to that one question. I think the question was similar to, besides the people, what one thing do you love about Goodlettsville? And the consultants were actually able to attend that event, and so they could see how the staff handles that large event and how our community embraced that event, and so it was a really great opportunity for them to start right around the time of that festival. They have been in our community a few times since then, unannounced, and they've eaten at some of our restaurants. They've been shopping in some of our shops because they'll contact me afterwards and tell me about the experience they've had. They're intentionally not telling us when they're here so they can get an authentic view of Goodlettsville and what's going on in the places in which they visit. So we're still in the very early stages of research and engagement, but it's really going to take our full community to do a full branding process like this. And so we're going to engage all of our residents and our visitors and businesses alike. And in doing that, our community voice will be heard through various focus groups and interviews and surveys. And we're going to open up a public meeting on Tuesday night. It'll be a public listening and learning workshop here in Massey Chambers from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Everyone is invited. And the way that process will work is the consultants will be here and will give a very brief presentation on branding and what that looks like and what our timeline would be. And then we'll have 4 or 5 different stations set up here in Massey Chambers and in the lobby. And the attendees will then be able to rotate among those 4 or 5 stations. And it'll be interactive, so there's things to do at each one of those stations. Because it is 6:30 to 8, we will have snacks and drinks so people won't get hangry. And as a thank you for all of our attendees that evening, they'll be able to put their name into a drawing, and we'll draw a name out on Wednesday, and the winner will get to choose either a 4-hour rental for a shelter at one of our parks or a 4-hour rental of a room at Del Mason Community Center, or they can choose a 12-month individual membership at Del Mason Community Center. So hopefully the community will come out and we'll be packed in here on Tuesday night, 6:30 to 8. And after that, we'll be doing some surveys again here in a few weeks and maybe after the holidays. So there's lots of opportunities to be involved, but we hope you all will be here on Tuesday.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. Appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor, I got one last item to talk about for as far as city manager comments. Earlier this week, we announced the retirement of Police Chief Gary Goodwin, who has spent 13 years here with us as our chief of police. But more amazingly, he has spent 50 years in law enforcement. When we first started having this discussion that he was thinking about it, and I said, "How old are you?" I missed it quite a bit. I'm like, okay then. But his successor has been appointed. Commander Aldridge Sherry will assume role as chief on January 1st. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, while we have such a crowd, I'd like for us to all stand up and give him a round of applause. Chief, thank you very much. Mayor, that's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. And Chief Goodwin, thank you for your service for the whole 50 years, not only for the city. You're much appreciated. We have, we're going to acknowledge some of our baseball players who made it, as usual, in Goodlettsville all the way. I think we're still a couple people short. You want to check on that, Johnny? If so, we'll get to new business. If they're not all here, we're going to get started for a few minutes, and we may interrupt the program in between one of the items on the agenda just to get them ran through here so the kids can get home and get to bed tonight. And once again, while we're waiting, thank you all for being here. We appreciate everyone. Still waiting on two more. 2 minutes or two people? Okay. Yeah, we can do that. While we're waiting on them to get started, we're going to go ahead and open up the for commissioner comments here. For commissioners would like to speak.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to make a couple of brief comments. First and foremost, you don't know I'm about to do this, but just wanted to wish our mayor, Tenen, a happy birthday today. We appreciate all you do for the city, so thank you. He didn't know I was going to do that, but now he knows. The other comment I wanted to make is just a shout out. This past week we had the Goodlettsville inaugural Veterans Day Parade and ceremony. Hopefully a few of you were able to enjoy that event, and just wanted to recognize DJ Johnson. He's with SageGuard Financial. He's just a community member, you all, and he had this idea and wanted to make this happen, and he truly made it happen in partnership with the city. He found entertainment, he found volunteers, he found sponsors. He just truly, there was a flyover, which was incredibly cool, and just wanted to give him a shout out as a display of a fantastic community servant who saw something that he wanted to do in his community, made it happen, and it was truly a fantastic event, and next year is just going to be even bigger and better. So mark your calendar for next Veterans Day. I hope to see you there.
He is also responsible for the nice veteran flags that we have up in the city. So just make a comment. So again, we appreciate the collaboration with DJ and his SageGuard Financial Group.
Thank you, Commissioner Walker. Thank you, Vice Mayor Duncan. We're good? Yeah, go ahead and bring him in. Mr. Anderson, Commissioner Gilmore, any comments? You good?
You ready? Well, Mayor, Commissioners, and citizens of Goodlettsville, I'm honored to be here. My name's Johnny Garrett. I'm still president of the Little League Goodlettsville program. These are your 10U and 8U All-Stars in the Little League program who both won state. We've got 3 of our 10U All-Stars here tonight. I don't know where the rest of them are. They're out partying on the town or something. Then we've got most of our 8U, I believe all of them, right? So head coach Nick Hernandez for our 10U and head coach John Castile are going to hand out certificates while our mayor and I believe you were going to call their names. And then we also are pleased that Old Hickory Bat Company, located right here in Goodlettsville, is also going to give each one of you a personalized bat for your achievement tonight. So it's going to be brand new blue and gold, just like your uniforms. I would highly recommend you do not take batting practice with these bats. So Mayor, or you're ready to roll. Thank you all very much.
Let's give an applause to the 10U first. The 10U players were Jace Hernandez, Alex Savage, Caden Young, Xander Evener, Miles Hartman, Maxwell Pacuar, Jack Ketron, Carson Lowe, Clive Stanton, Hudson Turner, Knox White, and Braxton Tuck. Congratulations. And the mayor has a certificate to present to each of you as well. All right, now let's congratulate our 8U All-Stars. Team members were Bryson Brown, Grayson Looney, Kobe Harper, Wade Pratt, Randall Castile, Jackson Auberger, Keegan Craig, Benny Sullins, Lane Sweet, Paxton Phillips, Maddox Murray, and Caleb Lowe. Congratulations, boys. And the mayor will present each of you with a certificate as well. Yeah. Yeah, that's totally fine. Yep. Do what? All right, if y'all want to scoot over, and parents, if you want to file in, we'll get one big group picture. All right, congratulations and thank you again.
Hey, I'm gonna give you a shout. I know you've been talking to him, we'll read on. I'm gonna get that over to him.
All right. So we've got everything behind us on the wonderful stuff here, so we're going to move on to unfinished business. Mr. Ellis, would you consider ordinance 25-1124, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, this is an ordinance to amend the design guidelines to increase the minimum brick, stone, exterior building material requirement percentage to 75%. Commissioners, this is second reading. It was passed by the Planning Commission unanimously, and staff recommends approval. It does require a public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Do I have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up the podium for a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak on this, please make your way to the podium. Seeing no one make their way to the podium, we'll close this portion of the public hearing and move on to commissioner comments. Hearing none, we'll move on to a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ordinance passes with a 5-0 vote. Mr. Ellis, consider ordinance 25-1125, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, it's an ordinance to amend ordinance 06-674 as amended the zoning ordinance of the City of Goodlettsville to amend residential zoning districts permitted uses, residential plan unit development, minimum living space square footage, exterior building materials, minimum attached garage designs, minimum commercial component requirements for mixed-use developments. Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, this is second reading, requires a public hearing, passed Planning Commission unanimously. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Do I have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up the podium for the public hearing. Anyone wanting to speak on this item, please make your way to the podium. Seeing no one make their way to the podium, we'll close this portion of the public hearing and move on to commissioner discussion. Hearing none on the discussion, we'll move on to a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ordinance passes with a 5-0 vote. Moving on to new business. Mr. Ellis, consider ordinance 25-1126, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, is an ordinance to amend ordinance 2974 to change the preliminary master plan minimum 1 and 2 story building height ratio requirement. This ordinance would amend ordinance 20-974 to change the preliminary master plan minimum to 1 and 2 as previously adopted by this body. Planning Commission denied this recommendation. This is an appeal to the City Commission. And an email that I sent to you all and at your desk today, apparently the developer has met with adjoining property owners and has worked out, I guess, an agreement to this, and I'm not sure. So that's where we are with this matter. You may want to ask the developer about this matter, but Planning Commission did deny your recommendation to the City Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Do I have a motion to, let's say, what, no, we already did that, didn't we? Do we have a motion to consider?
Yeah, there we go.
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this item from the commission?
I just want to comment, we just got this email. I'm trying to just understand, we got this email about this deal or understanding and agreement between, I guess it is an HOA and the developer. Not sure if it's better to defer this item so we can better understand, or I'm not sure I fully.
I'll let the developer come up and explain. I think he has.
Is the developer here?
Yeah, he's here. I
Okay.
believe.
My concern is we've gotten one email at 3 o'clock on the day of the meeting, and I'm not sure where and I agree with listening to the developer, but
I
I'm not
think,
sure.
and I was just going to answer this for
Yeah.
Jesse. I had heard from the citizens who was concerned. A lot of citizens had called and reached out to me by email saying they understood after the last meeting and was understood, and they liked the development. That was just from 2 or 3 of the citizens.
But it was still denied by our planning
Yes.
commission.
It was denied by our Planning Commission, and what was even being asked for at the Planning Commission level has changed again. I'm assuming it's changed. That's the reason why it's so confusing this evening, that we've received this email and from a neighbor, and I appreciate their conversations and trying to work this out, but we don't know if all the neighbors are in agreement with this or what. So you may want, and Mr. McCormick's here to answer any questions, but he's like me, he got the email the same time I did.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. George Brundler on behalf of Hidden Valley Homes, representing the developer. I had taken the opportunity, last month, we had requested the reduction of the 40% one-level requirement to a number to be determined. At that time, the discussion was 0%. And so after meeting with members of this group and also the surrounding neighborhood, it was determined, and better understanding their concerns as it related to the height of the new proposed homes. And so in discussion with the neighbors and determining that the height wasn't as much concern with the improvements that we made to both the architecture and also from the northern boundary of the property, being able to shift the new proposed 2-story homes to the southern boundary of the property, thereby keeping in place the one-level requirement just from a redux level of 40% to 25%. And so having spent a couple hours with the adjacent property owners, Ms. Milanovich, Ms. Seeley, and others, they were comfortable with that approach and had committed to me that they were comfortable with that approach. In addition to that, what I was able to convey to them, and happy to do it with this body, Mr. McCormick, or however we need to memorialize that event, is that the 2-level homes would be shifted to the southern boundary of the property. The homes immediately adjacent to the northern property with the areas of concern with the adjacent property owners, those would only be 1-level homes, thereby keeping in place the original approvals that were previously granted. And in addition to that, concern about the boundary of the property and fencing that. And so I'm committed and have committed to Ms. Milanovich, Ms. Seeley, and others that the northern boundary from the commercial parcel throughout the location of the 50-foot easement buffer that was already agreed to and granted, we would put a 6-foot privacy fence, and that the future HOA, I will install that, and the future HOA will maintain that into perpetuity.
Thank you.
And
Mr.
I'm happy
McCormick?
to answer any other questions as it relates to the improved architecture, the redux from the 40% to the 25%, and any other factors.
Commissioner?
I guess, Mr. Mayor, I guess we just go back to what we did last month. So it was 60-40.
Beg your pardon, sir?
Last month, it was, you were trying to go 60-40. You were trying to go from 60-40 to 100%, both two-story.
That was the discussion point. I was open and amicable to the discussion with the Planning Commission of a different amount, but that amount was never presented as an opportunity for discussion. And in discussion with others, was determined that, it would benefit both the community and the overall neighborhood and the city to have a certain percentage of one-level homes, which I'm comfortable doing, in addition to the improved architecture that we presented to the Planning Commission body. Happy to discuss that at any time. In addition to the other factors, we determined it best to reduce and request a reduction from 40% to 25% with the additional improvements that we're willing to do.
Y'all know I understand you've spoken with the residents. Does anyone else feel that we should give them time to speak to us? Or are y'all all okay with us just going forward based off the email?
I've heard from,
Because I have not, that's why.
right, and I can only speak for myself. I've been at all these meetings. I've talked to most of the residents and all the people he said, along with Mr. Garrett, who asked me to speak for him. He said he totally agreed with the new ordinances that's presented. So they was happy with the product.
So reducing it to 25%, but with the other items that he's presented in the email? Is that what we're?
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, sir, that's correct. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, when I said we received this at 3 o'clock, came in just a little bit earlier than that. It was 3 before I could really get it disseminated. There's really, tonight, couple, 3 options. One is defer, one is to pass, and one is just to deny. But if you pass tonight, I think we need to have a lot stronger feedback from the neighbors before it's passed on second reading, I guess is the simplest way to say it.
So then would all the neighbors, adjoining neighbors that Mr. McCormick had advised last time, would they be called again? Or would you have to go through the notices?
We could invite them to come to the meeting, or just get more feedback than just a single neighbor. Like I said, I don't know. Like I said, it came in kind of late today. And let me say, that was very apologetic that they could not be here this evening. It was just conflict.
Mr. Mayor, could I ask the developer a question? I'm sure this has been discussed in a prior meeting, but could you just tell me the reasoning for this original change and why the originally approved product is no longer your preference?
The 40% requirement was something that was not required by the Planning Commission previously and was generated by this body, for lack of a better term, at the 11th hour prior to the approval. Argumentatively, it was somewhat of an arbitrary number that was presented at that time, and that was the number that was generated at that particular time. Not necessarily agreed to by us per se, but we didn't really have a choice. And so that was what the ordinance became, for lack of a better term, at that particular point in time.
Okay, thank you.
I'll just throw it out there. I'm more comfortable. I'm going to make a motion to defer.
I'll
we have-
second.
Have a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Be deferred to the next meeting.
And if I could just get some feedback as it relates to what this body might require of, for example, Ms. Milanovic or the other residents, so that we could formalize that, and I can reach out, or you can reach out directly to me to let me know what that might look like as it relates to that.
I think Adam will reach out to most of the citizens, especially the one that's been in all the planning and zoning meetings, and that'll give Mr. Ellis time to rewrite it and get it exactly like you want it.
And just giving them the opportunity to be here.
Oh, of course.
That's what I'm more comfortable with.
yep,
To give them
absolutely.
time to speak to
Yep.
us if they prefer.
Thank you for your consideration. See you next month.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Ellis, consider ordinance 25-1128, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, an ordinance amending ordinance 24-1097 by extending the originally imposed temporary one-year moratorium on the acceptance, authorization, and approvals necessary for the subdivision, site planning, development, construction with more than 3 dwelling units per acre on real property in the city limits of Goodlettsville, Municipal Planning Commission, and the Board of Commissioners of the City of Goodlettsville zoning ordinance by an additional 90 days. So last year, December of '24, we adopted a 12-month moratorium, basically on medium and high-density housing. We're nearing the completion of our revisions to our long-range comprehensive land use plan. Not quite there yet, so this would allow that work to be completed before the moratorium expires.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Do I have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move on to a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ordinance passes with a 5-0 vote. Mr. Ellis, consider ordinance 25-1129, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance to permit an additional commercial use in the interchange overlay for the I-65 exit 98 Louisville Highway 31W overlay section. Mr. Mayor, this is, and Commissioners, this is first reading, passed the Planning Commission unanimously. Staff recommends approval of ordinance 1129.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Do we have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Thank you. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you so much. Is there any discussion on this item?
I'll just make a quick comment and clarification, because I know there's a lot of folks here. This is adding the car wash usage to the exit 98 Louisville Highway interchange. Just to be clear, it's only for that exit. I know a couple years ago there was a car wash proposed at the old Choney site, and that's not what this is. This is limited to exit 98, and it's just limited space there, and there's I think a good use for the property on that. So just want to make that clarification.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's right beside the gas station, which would have had a car wash there, I believe, if it was available, but not on their site, so it makes sense. It made total sense to put one here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll move on to a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ordinance passes with a 5-0 vote. Mr. Ellis, consider ordinance 25-1130, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, this is an ordinance to abandon a portion of right-of-way known as Mission Ridge Drive, Goodlettsville, Tennessee. This is on first reading. This evening, staff needs to recommend deferral for 1 month as we get a few technical matters taken care of.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to defer.
Thank you. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ordinance has been deferred. Mr. Ellis, consider ordinance 25-1131, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, an ordinance of the City of Goodlettsville Board of Commissioners amending the City of Goodlettsville Municipal Code, Title 9, Chapter 5, Section 4 by adding a new subsection 1B5. This is on first reading. Staff recommends approval. This is in relations to food trucks that we're having some issues with in our community currently, and this would limit the time that they can be set up at specific locations. I do make a motion, I make a recommendation, excuse me, for this approval, but I do feel like the first of 2026 we'll need a full review of our food truck policy regulations.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Do we have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move on to a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ordinance passes with a 5-0 vote. All right. Before we move on to this next item, I want to make a few comments. The last time this was brought up, whether it be planning and zoning or commission meeting, we allow everybody to comment for 3 minutes. I ask that when you speak your 3 minutes or you speak your comments, be finished. And the reason I say that is after they spoke their 3 minutes and then another person was up speaking, we had people screaming from the crowd and started arguing. We're not going to do that tonight, so I just ask everybody to be cordial and respectful for everybody else's comments on both sides. If it gets out of hand, we'll have to ask you to leave. I hope it is a very pleasant understanding with all this that we're fixing to put out here. And with that being said,
We will have decorum in the forum, please.
so anyway, Mr. Ellis, would you consider Resolution 25-1294, please?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. It's a resolution annexing 2 properties, including 45.02 acres of property on Long Hollow Pike by the city of Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Mr. Mayor, this resolution by state statute requires a public hearing. Planning Commission did not provide a recommendation on this after 3 votes. And before there's any discussion, I would like, if it's okay with this body, to ask our Senior Director of Community Development, Mr. Adam McCormick, to fully explain the annexation process, because it is complex and not just about a vote. Adam, you good with that?
Commissioners, in the state of Tennessee, annexation has changed over the years, but currently annexation is per request from the property owner. In this case, the owner has requested, there is a developer involved, but the owner has made the request. If you look on the agenda, there's 4 items on here tonight. There's the annexation of the property resolution, annexation of a 1,700 feet section of Long Hollow Pike, which is the road frontage from where we stop now, near the intersection of Allen Road, along this property frontage. So just the right-of-way of Long Hollow Pike. There's a plan of services. Plan of services is a requirement by state law that when cities annex properties, we have to define when we're going to provide our city services to those properties. This question got the 2 properties that total 45 acres and the right-of-way of Long Hollow Pike. Most of our city services would start, if the annexation is approved of right-of-way, that would be, as any, there is a house on the property, so those people would be residents. They'd have access to trash pickup, they could sign up for parks events. We would do building inspections for them, things like that. The other services with an annexed piece of property like this for development, the water line improvements, the sewer improvements, any roadway improvements is required to be done by the developer themselves. TDOT would determine, in this case, in state, Long Haul Pike is a state route, the roadway improvements required for that project. So annexations, when it's a development, it's a little different because you're annexed primarily raw land intended for development. Then the last item on the agenda with these 4 items is the rezoning. Definitely we wouldn't want to annex property without time of zoning to a city zoning. Right now this property is in Sumner County. It's on the rural residential. The property is within the city's urban growth boundary in Sumner County. We've had that since the early 2000s. And basically it's our area where we can grow into the future. We did amend that a couple years ago, but this area was part of the original because it's adjacent to our city limits. So the request tonight is to annex the properties, the roadway, do the plan of services as defined in the resolution, and then the rezoning.
Thank you, Mr. Adam, and I'm sure you'll be back up to the podium for a few minutes. At this time, I'm going to get a motion so we can get on the table. Do I have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Second. Thank you very much. At this time, we're going to open this up for the public hearing. I guess probably, I'm going to ask Mr. Ellis, who would you rather speak first, the developer or the public?
I think with the public hearing, just anyone
Okay.
that would.
All right. So anyone, if you, like we said earlier, if you please hold your comments, there's the clock, hold them to 3 minutes, and after you finish, all the other people that want to speak and have spoken, please respect the others while they're speaking and after they're finished. Thank you. And please state your name and your address when you come to the podium.
Name is Wallace Ralph Jr. Address is 4403 Long Hollow Pike. Speaking in opposition to the resolution 25-1294. Over the past year, much opposition has been expressed at the Planning Commission meetings by many more than just myself. The points of opposition include traffic concerns on Long Hollow Pike, school crowding at the elementary school, environmental degradation, especially of the creek and tree line along Long Hollow Pike, potential blasting damage from site preparation. Some of the opposition was simply opposition to change. Another was the devaluation of unannexed property that is in that area. As has been stated, after 3 Planning Commission meetings to consider the different forms and different housing densities of this project, the most recent project came to 3 votes at the last Planning Commission meeting. 1 vote was to delay action. The vote was no. The next vote was to decline the project. That vote was no. And the next vote was to approve the project, and that vote was also no. So it seems like there's a hung jury there. The resolution you're being asked to approve reads as follows. I'm just going to read the first portion of it. Whereas the city of Goodlettsville hereby determines that the prosperity of the municipality and the territory described herein will be materially hindered and the welfare of the inhabitants and property endangered if the property is not annexed. I must tell you that when I first read this, the first thing I thought was that perhaps the Russians were coming. This may be standard boilerplate language for proposals like this, but I've polled a few people, and I don't know of anybody that feels endangered, that their welfare is endangered if this property is not annexed. Actually, in all of these other meetings and when I've spoken, I thought that the issue at hand was the prosperity of the seller and the developer, not the prosperity of the community as a whole. Annexation and development by owner request, I know it's a law, but it's no way to grow a city. Let the people decide and annex your entire urban growth area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ralph. Appreciate you coming up.
Hello. My name is Tim Tennant. I am for the growth of Goodlettsville. Thank you all for being here tonight. Be pretty simple. Know most of you all up here at the front. And by the way, thank you. Happy birthday.
Mr. Tennant, would you state your address? Sorry.
Yeah, I am for the community.
Address?
My name is Tim Tennant. I live here in Goodlettsville, born here in Goodlettsville. My concern is that someone at some point in time is going to build on this property, regardless what builder it is. And my coming here tonight and being a part is really simple. You know, we're part of the city of Goodlettsville. Our family's part of the city. The Phillips family has been part of the Goodlettsville community. Some of the people that are here tonight are maybe not from the city of Goodlettsville or born here, and due to that reason, I'd just like to take a moment and explain the history of Phillips Builders in the city of Goodlettsville. Here's a little background. Some of the communities, Indian Hills, Braxton Park, Copper Creek, Piccadilly, Windsor Green, these are just several of the home sites that they have been involved in over the 50 years of being in Goodlettsville. Also, the property behind the Publix, several of those commercial buildings they built and developed. So when we're talking about Goodlettsville, it's a lot more than just the property. Someone's going to build here at some point in time. You know, while the city has an opportunity to bring a local home builder who is from the area, who has roots here, who's been involved in things like this Little League ball here. All their family at some point in time has been involved with the Mallstripe Park donation of things that are healthy for the city. So I want to make sure that some of the homeowners that are concerned about their property and the value of the environmental standpoint realize that we're not dealing with a Pulte Homes or a national Ryan Homes national builder. We're dealing with a local home builder who is concerned about, you know, the welfare of the city of Goodlettsville and what's healthy for the city. Unfortunately, I don't want to kid ourselves. Growth is going to happen, regardless who that builder is. I don't really want to sit here and ramble, but I just want to make sure that we look at the background of the builder and the family and the history of Goodlettsville, and that they're a healthy part of the city of Goodlettsville and have been for 50 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
All right. Good evening, guys. My name is Dallas Reddy, 3723 Long Hollow Pike. I've been a resident of Goodlettsville since I was at Goodlettsville Elementary School right down the road. I come here on behalf of farmers and all of those people that like to put food in their mouth and forget where it actually comes from. So I'm here to tell everybody it comes from small farms here in Tennessee that are slowly evaporating day by day. And it would be small builders. I appreciate the commercial from Mr. Tennant for Phillips Builders was that. I don't care where you're from. If you want to destroy the farms, you can go back to California or wherever the hell that is. It's not what we need here in Goodlettsville, and I think it's up for the public, not a single landowner, to decide. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Jacqueline Rout. I live at 4379 Long Hollow Pike. I live on a 100-year-old farm. I went to school at Beach School. We go to church in this community. My family has been raised in the community. I have known the Phillips family for many years, and I love the land. I am against rezoning. I am against our property going anywhere. And that goes all the way from Goodlettsville to Gallatin. And I love Goodlettsville. And I can see the sign that says, "Welcome to Goodlettsville." Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rao. Thank you so much for your comments.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Meyer. I live at 471 Fall Creek Circle. I've been up here before to discuss this property. I think the first reading I was here with the whole Allen Farms deal. Nothing has changed from what I recall of being mentioned, that there is one fire department on this side of town. There is no infrastructure and no fire department over there if something happens to all the houses. Our roads, Long Hollow Pike, is jammed. We talked about that when it came to the car wash and everything else. We cannot have more, let's see, how many more? 69 more houses? We haven't even put in the 74 houses that got approved for Allen Farms, and now you want to add another 69 houses right across the street from it. Same area, same intersections, same location, no room, no infrastructure. We have people who've lived in this community before Copper Creek came in that have issues with flooding. They blame our subdivision for it. So I'm sure this subdivision would cause flooding for the people who have homes, maybe the people who have just spoken. And when the wildlife. I mean, we have so much wildlife. Where are they gonna go? Like, I feel bad our neighborhood, took them out, and then Allen Farms is gonna take them out. We've got deer crossing our subdivision street. Like, where are they gonna go when you rip all this area out and put in homes? And looking at the diagram, one more thing, if this has to go through, because I'm a little confused as to why there's been this has been presented 3 times, it's been rejected 3 times, and here we are again, it being presented and us having to come and say no. So if, like Mr. Tannen, I think it was mentioned that, it's inevitable, maybe it is inevitable, but if it is, we need to get some infrastructure in place before this goes in. This is a little bit crazy. The diagram it shows has a left turn lane, wonderful, just like it does for Winridge. There's no right turn lane, so if you're coming from Gallatin on Long Hollow to turn right, you're gonna be stopping traffic, backing them up, just like they do turning onto Allen Road. And there's gonna be even more people. Like I said, 74 homes, Allen Farms is coming. Now you wanna put in 69 more homes right in the same area. I don't think our infrastructure's ready for this. Schools, utilities, whatever. We need to build the infrastructure if you really, really, really are adamant about expanding Goodlettsville and taking away all this property and putting subdivisions in. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments.
Hi, I'm Ashley Reed. I live at 119 North Maple Ridge Lane in the Windridge community. We'll be brief. I know that you guys are well aware of the sentiments of the community and have received many letters. We've been here for multiple meetings thus far. I did just want to address Mr. McCormick's comment on the comprehensive land use plan. As you guys are well aware, there is a new and revised plan that has been under review for the last year, which is recommending that land stay rural residential. So I would just ask that you not make a decision based on the current comprehensive land use plan, but instead consider the one that the community has been partnering with you in building over the last year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley.
Troy Tyson, 675 Fall Creek Circle. Kind of like what Mr. Tennant was saying, that development is inevitable. I've lived in several different states over my years, and things happen, things grow, okay? But a lot of these other places I live, the infrastructure goes in first. That's our concern here, is that, all this development, Allen Farms, this project, it seems like the roads and all the stuff that goes behind it comes in after the fact. Why don't you put the stuff in first? Because it's going to grow. This is going to grow. It's going to go past that. And, what I can see from the initial road plans here, it's just insufficient. Okay, so, I just think you guys need to look at how the long-range plan needs to incorporate more infrastructure improvements before all these developments happen. So that's my concern.
Thank you for your comments, Troy. Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Brooke Nichols. I live at 136 North Winridge Way in Goodlettsville. So we've lived there 4 years now. Chose our home before he was born due to the location in the schools, and we are strongly against it. So we are against the, more congestion on Long Hollow Pike and the overcrowding of our schools. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Hello, Christopher Reed from 119 North Maple Ridge. First of all, thank you for the work that you do, and I know this is difficult and hard, and we know that there are a lot of people that have many interests in many different ways. And I want to thank you, all the Phillips people, for being here tonight and showing your support for building, and I understand. But I am against the current building on the land. I do think that there are certain plans that we have in place that should be taken into account. I'm not saying building shouldn't ever happen on it. It is one of those inevitable things, but I think it should be done in a thoughtful and a current manner. I am always happy to see a builder from a local area, so I applaud them for that. But at the same time, I think it also should be taken in consideration that we are looking at 69 homes with 74 building on the other side. This is something that I think we should take a little bit more time on, and something that we should really think through and think if there's maybe some alternative uses for land like that. Annexing it does help the city, obviously, but at the same time, there are also alternative ways to help the city grow. You know, when it comes to our business and development center, we have a lot of opportunity to do that. I know that we have some of that North Nashville like culture and atmosphere that we have in that area, but there's a lot of opportunity there. So if it is a plan to help the city grow from a revenue perspective, then I think that would be a good thing. However, at the same time, I know that I'm going to keep this short, and I thank you for your guys' work, and I will definitely take whatever you decide for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your comment. Appreciate that.
Good evening. My name is John Belcher. I live at 2003 Hawkwell Circle with a Hendersonville mailing address, but I live in the county. I'm also a member of the Sumner County Regional Planning Commission. I know what you guys are facing right now. I've been there and I will be there in the future. I am in opposition of this annexation, primarily because of the added congestion, especially to the Long Hollow Pike area. I don't know whether many of you recall or not, but probably 20 years ago, the commissioners of this county were going to put together a plan for the Long Hollow corridor to expand the road, improve the traffic conditions. Never happened. Here we are some 20 years later, same conditions, and we're considering more development. And let me also say, having reviewed several traffic plans in my position, traffic plans a lot of times are not very accurate. So if this goes forward and the traffic plan says the roads can handle it with certain changes, I would take that with a grain of salt. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, partner. Appreciate your comment.
Hello, my name's Brooke Eakes. I live at 3330 Patton Branch Road, and I also have a home on Madison Creek, 1352 Madison Creek Road. I am against it. We have a lot of congestion with traffic going off of Long Hollow, even people coming from White House and Portland cutting through. Also, my kids go to the elementary school. It's full, it's an older school. So for that, I am against it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Hello, my name is Erin Harmon Crawford, and I live at 3035 Patton Branch Road, and I oppose the annexation and the rezoning of this property due to congestion of the traffic and also the congestion of our schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Crawford. Appreciate your comment.
Hello, my name's Matthew Sullivan Chaddock. I live at 136 North Windridge in the Windridge community. And I just want to say that I'm opposed to this. We live there. My wife just spoke a few minutes ago. We have been there for about 5 years. We came here for the schools, for like just the overall environment. This place is special. We wouldn't have moved here if it wasn't. So just to keep the integrity of kind of what it is. And I understand that you have to grow, you have to build, but like a few people have said before, the infrastructure is the thing that we need to do first. Especially hearing some other people talk about infrastructure that was talked about 20 years ago, and we're still talking about the infrastructure. But I mean, if you can drive on that road at any time of the day, you're going to hit traffic any time of the day. So thank you for your time. Appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate your comment.
Hello, my name is Jim Hitt. I live at 723 Long Hollow Pike. I've been in this city for over 80 years. I've lived on Long Hollow Pike for almost 40 years, and I also served on the Goodlettsville Planning Commission for over 25 years. So I have kind of a unique perspective of this. I've seen a lot of good proposals. I've seen a lot of bad proposals. I consider this one a good proposal, mostly because what's already been said about who's going to develop this property and what community they're going to do. They have said they're going to mimic Laurel Park, and I hope all of you have been out to see Laurel Park. It's one of the most beautiful developments in Middle Tennessee. So if they are going to try to mimic that, I think it's going to be an enhancement for this area. And one final point, Goodlettsville needs to grow. Unfortunately, north, south, and west is bounded by areas in which we cannot grow. The only way to grow is out the Long Hollow Pike area. And as my dad told me many years ago, if you're not growing, you're going backwards. So we don't need to see Goodlettsville going backwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hitt. Appreciate your comments, partner.
Good evening. My name is Jim Childress. I live at 127 North Maple Ridge Lane in Goodlettsville. Lived here for 25 years or so. We moved to this area for the character of this area. We moved first to the Davidson County side, and then we moved to the Sumner County side for the school district. We want to retire in this area. This has been our joy, and it's been a community that we've always loved. I am against this proposal for a number of reasons. One is that they are tying into our subdivision, North Maple Ridge Lane, or the plan is for it to. And I can't help but notice that they're building all their post office boxes down at the cul-de-sac right where it would join. Now, we've heard some of the commission say, oh, we'll block this off. It's only for fire access and stuff. That is a fallacy. Locks get cut, and they aren't maintained. And I grew up on a cul-de-sac, not on a cul-de-sac, but on a dead-end road. They connected that road, and it became dangerous to walk down that road. If this developer wants to, if this commission approves it, which I hope they don't, but if they want it, they can put 2 entrances off Long Hollow Pike. They don't have to connect to ours. I don't want to repeat everything that everyone has said. Basically, you've received emails, letters. I've been to 4 hearings on this. I don't want to talk about it ad infinitum. You know the issues associated with it. But I can't help but make several observations from coming to so many of these meetings. One of them is the developer will get approval. the developer later comes in and asks for a lot more and in a lot less space. I see this multiple times, sitting through just 4 or 5 of these hearings. That's a concern to me. I don't want the camel to get his nose in the tent just so that they can do something different or later if things don't work out exactly like they want to. I appreciate this commission, and I don't want to sound snarky, but I can't help but notice several observations that are made.
Thank you, Mr. Childress. We appreciate your comment.
Hello, I'm Sarah Childress. I live on 127 Maple Ridge Lane. I would like to speak in opposition to this. I do not want to retread all of the very excellent arguments that have been made. I know you've heard all of them many, many times and have been thinking about them very studiously, and I thank you for that. I just want to urge you to think very carefully about this decision. What is a decision of one evening for you will have cascading effects and a wider influence for the rest of the community. For the community, it's something that will affect the overall balance and growth of the community we live in. For the people that live around here, this decision will affect us as long as we choose to live here. For the wildlife that lives in this area, it's their everything. So I just want you to consider very carefully the pros, the cons, all of the arguments you've heard, all of the concerns that the people have brought to you. Excuse me. So I know it's not an easy decision. I certainly don't envy being in your seat. So thank you for listening to all of our comments. And I just want to urge you to remember that things like community feeling, beauty of nature, they're things that are not easily quantified and measured against these sort of statistics that you often deal with. So I know it's not an easy balance, but I just wanted to remind you of their importance, even if you can't put a monetary value on the things that make this community somewhere that we want to live. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comment.
My name is Jeff Cordell. I live at 404 Buffalo Run, right here in this great city of Goodlettsville. I'm here tonight to hope you will approve this annexation. This parcel of land is going to be developed. It's going to be developed now or later, but it's going to happen. And we've got the right builder to do it. Jason Phillips will do an excellent job for us. We will be a better city after this subdivision is built. Now, I understand the opposition. Believe me, I have been on the other side. For the first 6 years when I lived on Buffalo Run, it was a dead end. It was beautiful farmland, and my kids played on the farm, and it dead end. And here comes the bulldozer 6 years later. I was opposed for it. I didn't want it. I didn't like it. And it wasn't best for the Cordell household, but it was best for the city. And this is the same situation here on this parcel of land. I just think it'll be best for the city if you let this be developed. Thank you for letting me say a few words, and thank you for what you do for this city.
Thank you, Mr. Cordell. Appreciate your comment.
Good evening. My name is Sheila Dickerson. I live at 126 North Maple Ridge Lane in Wind Ridge subdivision. I am totally against this proposal. I can say especially right now. I think the road situation needs to be addressed. I've lived out here for 10 years. A prime example, it used to take me 10 minutes in the morning to get down to the interstate. I work in downtown Nashville. Now, sometimes it takes me 30, 40 minutes just to get to the interstate because of all the traffic. The traffic needs to be addressed. We also need to address this, trying to keep the homely feel of our community. But my main point is that we need to address the infrastructure. It takes me longer to get to the interstate than it does to get on the interstate to get to Nashville sometime. I just think it's ridiculous and just wanted to give you my viewpoint on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Dickerson. Appreciate your comment.
Hey, good evening. Justin Wilson, 609 Fall Creek Circle. I'll start by saying the end of Goodlettsville's mission statement, which is community values and encourages growth that will enhance quality of life. I'm not sure that this neighborhood actually brings that into Goodlettsville. Once this land is annexed, there's no turning back from it. That land is gone. It's a neighborhood. Nothing's changing that. I've seen this before when I was stationed in California. A 48-house neighborhood turned into 430 in the 4 years that I was there. I know you're going to say, oh, that's never going to happen to Goodlettsville. It can happen. I've seen it firsthand. Once that happens, like I said, it's just one neighborhood. That's how it starts, and then it goes from there. We have to take into consideration the impacts, like many have said, for the future. We don't even know at Allen Farms neighborhood how that's infected traffic neighborhood. What we've seen is illegal burning, mailboxes getting knocked over, being ran off the road by construction vehicles, all in since that neighborhood's been approved. So we've seen that. And now we want to double the amount of homes in a quarter-mile spot with no infrastructure gains. The average number of vehicles in Tennessee is over 2 cars, so that's adding 120 vehicles to a quarter-mile span of Long Hollow Pike that we've been we've been talking about for 20 years with no infrastructure gains. This isn't the way to continue to develop Goodlettsville. I understand developers will see dollar signs, so will the real estate agents, but what I have to ask is just you take a pause and consider moving forward what the actual citizens and the people who live in that area, our thoughts and concerns. I'll end by saying there's a reason that we continue to show up. There's a reason that this has not been passed yet. There's a reason that almost every time we'll hear this is the largest number of people that have shown up for this neighborhood. I just ask that you pause, consider us, what we're saying, take into all the points that I've made. I'm not going to repeat them, but I'm completely opposed to this. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lawson. Appreciate your comment.
Good evening. My name is Ellen Philpott. I live at 110 North Maple Ridge Lane. You've heard that North Maple Ridge Lane address before tonight, and we have been here before. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to us and to really seriously consider the concerns that we have in opposition to this annexation as is proposed. It may be that there is another plan that would work better. The major points of concern are those that have already been mentioned, but I feel like if you hear them more than once, then that'll make an impression. The traffic, of course, the existing traffic, and then the proposed Allen Farms traffic. The blasting, whose responsibility will that be? If our homes are damaged by blasting for this neighborhood, which we all know about the limestone and the rock that lives underneath the soil here in Goodlettsville. The water runoff, which is an existing problem and which will only be exacerbated. The buffer between the neighborhoods, the previous developer had a wider buffer between our neighborhood and their proposal. And from what I've heard or understand from one of the commissioners here, that is a minimal buffer between our neighborhood and the proposed neighborhood. And it seems like there's just a rush to do this. Why is there such a rush? That's my question. I thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your comment.
My name is Andrea Kelly. I live at 100 South Maple Ridge Lane. One thing I would like to urge you all to do is to research the success, or I should say lack thereof, of other cities our size that they have had with the annexation of property, specifically some cities in Texas. I'm not going to reiterate all the points that have been brought up, but I would like to remind you that a big part of your job is to listen to your citizens. And your citizens have shown for a third and fourth time via in-person tonight or another night or an email a strong opposition to this development. Your citizens have also opposed new developments like this in the city's most recent survey. Your citizens are more interested in keeping Goodlettsville a small town. Just because there is a new local developer with his employees and friends and whole family here, and I know some of them, who also profit financially from this, it does not change how the citizens of your city feel. And I urge you to consider this and think about this deeply when you go to make your decision. And the last thing I have is a question, is how many more times do the citizens have to say no on this? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dory Greenlee. I live on 1218 Madison Creek Road in Goodlettsville. I have lived in California, I've lived in Boston, and I've lived in Delaware. I call this my home. I have watched 3 other states keep adding and adding and adding more pollution, more traffic, less nature, less farmland, prices of food go up, because you have to get it from outside of the area. Why can we not leave Goodlettsville as beautiful as it is and fix what needs to be fixed on the outside, on the inside instead of the outside? I love it here. I do own property in another county, but I prefer to live here as long as I can. Yes, I'm nervous. I just want to keep the farmland. Where are we going to get the food if y'all keep getting rid of the farmland? Let's keep Goodlettsville beautiful, just like they did, and I hate to say it, Mayberry RFD. Why not have something that does not change? Because the more people that move in from out of state, this is going to turn into a Boston. This is going to turn into a San Francisco or a Sacramento where there is no more farmland. I vote no against this. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Appreciate it.
Denny Carter, 124 North Windridge Way. I'm opposed to this. I'm 82 years old, and we've lived here in Nashville since '91. We lived in a Phillips home over off Conference Drive for years. My job in the Air Force, I'm retired, was engineering, civil engineering. We took what we wanted, when we wanted it, we repaired it, we tore it down, we fixed it. As I look back at my years, the one thing I wish I could do or would have done was consider the people that lived there, that owned that property, and it was ruined in most every case, Vietnam, Korea, and in Europe. I just think looks like there's a lot of problems with traffic. I could get to Nashville in 20 minutes when we first moved here, any day, any time of the day. There's so many people out there at the conference. You go into Hendersonville or Goodlettsville, Rivergate. Where do they come from? They don't work, they just drive. They're there all the time. A quarter of a mile from our entrance to our community is going to be another entrance to another community. That's got to be a big headache, guys. You need to look at some of that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your comment and your service. Appreciate it.
Hello, my name is Andy Thorpe. I live at 131 North Windridge Way, and I am opposed to the annexation. In April 2025, your PowerPoint shows the top 8 things the citizens want. The bottom one is development. The top one was keeping it looking like it does today, right? That's what we're all here to represent. The look of Goodlettsville, why we all want to live here, that long hollow drive, it's amazing. We all love it, right? That's what we want to maintain. As a profession, like Denny, I'm an environmental engineer. I've looked at the plans, and I see the stormwater management plan there. I don't see it being sufficient. I feel like it's our job, when we look at these developers that are coming in for the financial benefit, which I believe is the only real benefit that's ever been brought up tonight. The benefit, I think there's going to be degradation to what we're doing. Ponds where they're going to be sitting close to my house. The runoff's bad now. It's going to get worse. I don't see a pond sitting there. It doesn't work. Water runs downhill. That's how it works. It's pretty simple. I don't see that being addressed sufficiently. It's a concern of mine, and I think it should be of everyone's, because we want to keep our waterways. We see flooding here in Goodlettsville, and it's going to get worse. I'm not going to bring up infrastructure. We've talked a lot about that already. I just feel like we need to listen. The developer needs, and also the walking paths too. This is a plan we have from Goodlettsville, talking about walking plans and paths, bike paths. There's no mention of that at all, right? That's something that we should be thinking about, right? What benefits the citizens? We're not looking to what benefits the developer, because we know it's all about money, right? We're looking here to benefit the community, right? That's what we're here for. I hope you all are too, as our elected officials. That's my plea for you, is to resound our opinions in your vote tonight. So thank you for the time to speak, and I'm proud to be a Goodlettsville citizen.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your comment.
Good evening. I'm Andrea Stillwell. I live at 116 Forest Oaks Drive, also in the Windridge subdivision, and forgive me for reading. I just want to use my time and your time wisely. Thank you so much for listening to us. So many of our neighbors have been present for past meetings and continue to oppose this development. We have lived in Goodlettsville since 2009 and in this neighborhood since 2013. We love our home. We love our neighborhood. We love this community. And we're so disappointed that once again we have to rise in opposition to yet another proposal that so many have adamantly and loudly raised concerns about, and in such a short period of time between proposals. We ask you to please vote no. I won't use a lot of time continuing to share the same concerns that have already been raised about traffic and congestion, public safety, environmental concerns, our schools. I'm certainly not opposed at all to smart and thoughtful growth. Part of what we love about living here in Middle Tennessee and Goodlettsville and Sumner County specifically is all that this area offers. However, we intentionally sought out a quieter and more rural-like subdivision, an area to live because of the beautiful landscape and serenity. So please listen to the voices of so many and our concerns about what this annexation and growth would do. I understand growth is inevitable, but let's be smart in our growth. So thank you so much for your time, thank you for your service, and thank you for continuing to listen to our concerns.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your comment.
Good evening. My name is Mike McGinnis. I live at 144 North Windridge Way. And I'd like to thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak on this tonight in opposition to this annexation. I think the Planning Commission was pretty clear in letting us know that this is not the right time and not the right place for annexation and development. You've heard from numerous residents about why they think it's a bad idea. I know some people that are in real estate and development, and I've tried to put myself in their shoes. And I've heard things like there's a great need for single-family homes in this area. I beg to differ. The fact is there's a lot of single-family homes out there. Between Windridge and Goodlettsville, there's a dozen that are on the market right now. Anyone that wants to move to this area has ample opportunity to do so. Any need that you hear about, that we need more homes, I think that's more a fabrication of the real estate industry. Copper Creek is still building homes over in their subdivision. I think they added about 15 homes or so on the, I think it's Sydney Drive up there this summer. Allen Farms has been annexed into the city to build about 70 more homes up there. I don't know why they're not building up there in Allen Farms yet, other than these things tend to be market driven. And if there's not a need for the homes, then they're probably not building them. There's probably a reason for that. So potentially we have 100 homes coming to the Allen Road and Long Hollow Pike intersection. I can't imagine anybody on this board is not familiar with all the problems we currently experience with the growth in the area. My wife, it takes her 15, 20 minutes just to get down to the freeway to go to work each day. I understand that existing traffic and congestion issues are not the fault of the city of Goodlettsville. Not at all. I think the reckless overdevelopment in Hendersonville, Gallatin, and pretty much all of Sumner County has been, the cause of most of that. I would like to see, I think it'd be very inspiring to see our city leaders partnering with these other cities to develop some regional transportation solutions to some of these problems, rather than adding to the problems by annexing and developing more subdivisions. And finally, as our elected officials, I know all of you want what's best for the city of Goodlettsville. Perhaps you even have a vision as to how great the future of the city of Goodlettsville can be. At least I hope you do. The people here tonight that you've heard from also have a dream. They've invested their lives, their futures, and the futures of their families in what they feel best represents them and their hopes and dreams. I'm begging you, don't let them down. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your comment.
My name's Steve Peak. I'm here with my wife, Debbie. We live at 4404 Long Hollow Pike, which is just on the right on the east side. My property line runs to the south and all the way to the west of 2,000 feet. It's going to be on this subdivision. I got 20 acres there, 3 houses, and I guess you know what I'm for, but, and I don't think there's anybody else in this room that was in my position wouldn't be against this. I'm not against the building part. I'm not against, I think you got the right builder. I know the Phillips family. I'm not against that. I'm just totally against the total of density of houses going to be built. I mean, I don't really like a subdivision beside me, but it just don't fit where I'm at. If I wanted the houses built, I got 2 sons that are custom home builders. My oldest one's trying to get me to build houses down below my house now on that property, but that's not what we want. So I got more to lose than anybody else. I'm not saying I'm against Phillips building. I'm not against the subdivision. I just think the density of the subdivision is what the issue. It just don't fit in that area. But I hope Phillips, maybe y'all can work something out. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
My name is Candace Ralph. I live at 4435 Long Hollow Pike, which is literally on the corner of Allen Road and Long Hollow Pike, what you're talking about annexing. I'm against this annexation and the development entirely because nobody's property can take any more groundwater disruption and runoff. This is out of control. And it's costing me a lot of money already with the development that we've had. And I've got it coming behind me and now across the street. I'm against this entirely, 100%. Thank you.
Thank you, Candace. Appreciate your comment.
I'm Eddie Phillips. I live at 622 Caroline Drive, Goodlettsville. Our family moved to Goodlettsville in 1956. we've done a lot of work in Goodlettsville. We built Conference Drive, we developed Windsor Green, and we developed Indian Hills and built all the homes there across from Moss Wright Park. We developed and built the homes in Braxton Park, and my wife and I, my dad's estate, we own the land at North Creek Business Park, and we've been able to attract and bring in state-of-the-art medical buildings and daycare for children, several offices, and we think that this community, as proposed, is compatible with the area. It'll be a good fit for the city of Goodlettsville, and we respectfully ask for your approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Appreciate your comment.
I'm Will Ralph. A little bit of history. Several years ago, when the Joyner Doris farm next door to our farm sold and the Windridge neighborhood was developed, my father did one thing only, and that was to check the line fence between the farm and all the new neighbors so as to prevent any of the few animals on the farm getting out into the neighbor's yard. As far as I know, we have kept that record, and conversely, I don't think we've ever had an issue of any kind with the neighbors in Windridge. It's been a good and civil relationship. Both my parents died 25 years ago in the year 2000. And at that time, the farm was put in a trust, the beneficiary of which was a grandchild primarily who was born with significant mental and physical disabilities, and the beneficiary of the trust was to support her the rest of her life. So the trust wishes to sell the farm and annex it into the city of Goodlettsville. Finally, considering a couple of natural resources on the farm and looking at the presentation of the developer, I think this could be one of Goodlettsville's nicest neighborhoods, a prized place to live. So I hope we can proceed with the project and not procrastinate anymore. Thank you much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Appreciate it.
My name is Jeremy Mansfield. I was asked to come here by residents that I represent in the county. Sumner County Commissioner, District 16, representing Goodlettsville, Millersville, Shackle Island, portion of Hendersonville. Heard it said about Laurel Park tonight, this development will be like that. I'll just let you know that I got elected because of the citizens of Shackle Island did not want a development like Laurel Park. In a two-man race, I came out on top and beat both my opponents in 2018 because of that development in that neighborhood. Growth for the sake of growth is the ideology of the cancer cell. I just want you to think about that. When people call me about rezoning, the first thing I tell them is unless you get the neighbors on board with you, you do not have my support. You can't develop property for the benefit of one at the detriment of everybody else. When I was knocking on doors during both of my campaigns, the number one issue citizens complained about was high density rezonings and developments and annexations. Even worse, you're trying to annex county land to do this development. Landowners have a right to sell, they have a right to develop within reason. They do not have a right to rezoning. Current zoning is there for a reason. The county or city decided somewhere along the way that zoning fit that area. Things do change. There may be a time to come for reconsider that zoning, but it's not a given. especially when we constantly have to raise property taxes around the county and the city to pay for somebody else's new growth that does not pay for itself. The developers know what zoning is when they buy a piece of property, and they do not have a right to change it. Citizens do understand that cities like the perceived revenues from more property taxes. However, empirical evidence shows that residential development represents an ongoing fiscal drain on city and county budgets. While residential developments contributes the most significant revenue, its net budgetary impact is negative on city budgets. It always creates a deficit. We do not need more residential growth in Goodlettsville. The solution to all these problems is to stop approving high-density developments in overcrowded areas. You have no obligation as a board or statutory requirement to approve any rezoning or annexation request. You can say no. I'm going to paraphrase what one of my constituents, Ricky Skaggs, said at a rezoning hearing in 2020 for the Sumner County Planning Commission. He said, instead of more rooftops, doesn't the county want more happy residents who value the quality of life over quantity? So doesn't the city want more happy residents who value the quality of life over quantity? Three times, the citizens have been up here for you guys to say no to this as a planning commission, and the planning commission has voted no. It's the fourth time. And they are overwhelmingly crying out for quality of life. So please listen to your constituents. Please vote no to this annexation request and rezoning. And I'm asking that on behalf of myself. I moved to Goodlettsville I'm a refugee from Hendersonville, Tennessee, born and raised in Hendersonville, Tennessee. I do not want Goodlettsville to be like Hendersonville, Tennessee. I do not want Long Hollow Pike to grow and more houses to be built in Sumner County on that side. Please do not annex, please reject, and please say no to this rezoning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mansfield.
My name's Jason Phillips. Can I speak on this behalf, or do I have to wait until we're heard?
No, sir, you can speak.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'm the evil developer here. I am actually extremely proud to be a developer and a builder, and I want to just address a lot of the things that I've heard just head on. I've heard traffic over and over. We spent the money on a traffic report done by a third party, and this project with 69 homes is not create a traffic problem. The city commissioners have that in their report, and you're free to read through that and share it with the public. Schools, we don't have an overcrowding problem in our schools. Madison Creek specifically is at 65% capacity. So we don't have and if you look at Beach is the most enrolled, it's at 85%. I've heard about farming. Currently, we aren't growing any crops on this 45 acres, so that's not going to hurt anything. I've heard about prosperity. It turns out that the evil developers and builders in the world actually build the one thing that help Americans grow a lifetime of generational wealth. That's buying a house. And so the fact that you've got yours and now nobody else can have one, that's a very selfish attitude. Tying into Windridge, we're not tying into Windridge with any road. We're simply adding a crash gate that is required by the life safety measures by the fire department. If you don't want it, we don't have to have it. I've heard that our buffer that we're requiring is not adequate and not meeting up to what is built in Windridge. That's not true. We're providing a 35-foot buffer. Windridge provides a 20-foot buffer. I just heard that builders and developers don't pay our own way. That couldn't be further from the truth. Our family, when we built Windsor Green, we built Conference Drive for this city. Now, the latest I saw, Dollar General is actually headquarters on Conference Drive. So we pay our way. And if it's required, based on the traffic study, that we have to build a turn lane or whatever else is required, we do it. And another point, the city commission has not heard this project. The planning commission's heard it 3 or 4 times, but the city commission, our elected officials, have not heard this project. And the planning commission, this was only presented as 114 units and it was 92 units. We've heard everything that has the objections in the first 2 plans, and we've got this down to 69 homes in a low-density residential zoning is what we're applying for here. So anyway, I just wanted to clear up the facts as far as what we're actually presenting here tonight and what we're presenting for the city of Goodlettsville. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips.
David Abbey with Development Management Group. Also, I live about 4 miles up the road from this location, up on Long Hollow, just off Long Hollow Pike. So I come through here all the time as well. So I'm very well aware of exactly what is being discussed. Also, happen to be a civil engineer. I've heard multiple comments that have occurred in some of the things that have been asked here or mentioned here. One of the things that we have is city requirements to address stormwater, utilities, development in itself. All of those are going to come at a later phase. That's the way that process works. They understand that, and they would be working through those processes at said time when that did come along. Whether the development is this 69, 68, whatever, it doesn't matter. The roadway infrastructure that's being discussed and the issues there, if you want to fix it, the city's going to have to end up actually paying to do that, because currently, from everything that I understand, the DOT doesn't have a warrant to do it, and the city would even have to joint venture in those improvements to be done. Is there the availability to even do that from the city standpoint? You kind of need more people generating more revenue to help with some of those costs and stuff. Related to, again, the drainage, again, you're gonna have stormwater requirements. Not only that, you're gonna have to deal with TDEC. We understand that that would need to be a requirement. Along the creek, along the road, there's a buffer, which means they're gonna have to leave trees. I fully get that as well and understand that. So there are things that are already in place, and other departments and other agencies that are going to have to be a part of any of the plans that get reviewed and approved. As for, the access, yes, I've been involved in projects where we've had a secondary access for an emergency purpose only, and they stay intact. Again, if the developer doesn't want it, but the city requires it, if it's an emergency access, is that really that big of an issue? I think there's things there that yes, there are complaints and everybody understands, and things that happen over time. And could some of those things change? Maybe, maybe not. But the idea is the developer appears to be doing this in the right way from what I can tell. And he's at least bringing something to this city that should help them overall in the long run. Again, 69 houses there is actually less development size-wise than Windridge is next door. So I believe that this should be something that should be able to be approved. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your comments.
Good evening. I'm John Sapp, 142 North Windridge Way. Some folks tonight, both for and against this proposal, have stated a fallacy that development and growth of this piece of property is inevitable. That's not true. It can remain the way it is. The only things that are inevitable are taxes and death. So, and it's okay, even if this is a good plan, to say no in anticipation of a better plan. That's all. It's quite simple. We do not have to act on this now, even though it is a good plan. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Any more comments on this resolution before we close the public hearing? Seeing no one make their way to the podium, we'll close this portion of the public hearing and move on to commissioner comments.
I'll jump out there. It's public or our time, right? Okay. Just to make sure I cover everything, I jotted down a few points for myself because I knew tonight was going to be very important and there was going to be a lot of people here. First, I want to be completely transparent. I live in Windridge subdivision. And the past several months, I have spoken with many of my neighbors about this proposed annexation and subdivision development. And as you may know, the development has been on the Planning Commission agenda twice before and did not pass either time. So I just want to acknowledge that from the start. Also, I do want to clarify, the city of Goodlettsville did not ask for, nor did we seek this annexation. This request came from the property owner. So I want to be clear, it did not originate from the city. Second, the one thing we can always count on is change, but the key is to be proactive, to anticipate those changes and make sure they happen in smart, well-planned ways that consider the impact on our community for generations to come. Now, I want to talk about something even more important to me, our city's comprehensive land plan, our land use plan. This will guide Goodlettsville's future and future development growth by addressing key issues like housing, development standards, zoning, and long-term community goals. Essentially, it is designed to help the city prevent development that doesn't align with our future and our vision for the future. However, this plan has not been approved yet. We're still in the processing of finalizing it. And this is what I mean by smart growth. The comprehensive land use plan is a long-range document meant to serve as the foundation for the future development decisions. And in my view, it just doesn't make sense to move forward with major development until this plan is officially in place. We've worked really hard to create something so vital for our city's future, and we're very close to completing it. So for this reason, I can't support this ordinance. I strongly believe it's in the best to finish and adopt the comprehensive land plan before any significant decisions are made. At the end of the day, all of us want what's best for Goodlettsville. Let's take the time to get it right for our neighbors today and for the generations who will call this community home tomorrow. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Well said. Commissioners, anyone else like to speak? No more comments? Mr. Anderson?
Before we do go to the vote, I would like to request a roll call vote if we could.
Okay.
Well, I think we should give the developers time to explain the development in case there are any questions, since this only did come before the Planning Commission.
Okay.
And that would be his choice.
Yeah, I'm happy to field any questions. Laurel Park is the subdivision that's been mentioned here tonight. And, you know, I'm sure you guys have had some proposals on projects before that were pretty color renderings, and you really weren't sure what was going to be built. What we're proposing to build, you can go see. We built these homes. We've sold these homes. Our average sales price of those homes are $862,000. The size lots that we built those on are similar to these. These are actually a little bit bigger. So that's what we're proposing. You can go out there and you can look at it and you can see it and touch it and feel it, and you can check me on the stats on what we built and sold these homes for. You know, I grew up in Goodlettsville. I don't understand how a home in that price point is not the kind of resident that we want here in Goodlettsville. I do believe that's smart growth. It is a low-density growth. If you look at the financial impact on the city, there's close to $300,000 worth of permitting fees that'll go to the city of Goodlettsville. It'll increase the property value if you just look at the overall appreciation of the property, close to $60 million. And that $60 million will be the basis for which the property taxes will be paid into the city of Goodlettsville and the county. So there's definitely some financial benefits to the city. And you know, when you've got a price point like that, does the city of Goodlettsville want that buyer to continue to go to Hendersonville or Gallatin to buy a home? Because currently, where do you go buy a new home in Goodlettsville at that price point? Is that not a buyer that the city of Goodlettsville wants and needs to grow and grow smart? So if y'all got any comments or questions for me regarding anything regarding the development, I can help speak to that, or the engineer can speak to it regarding any of the stormwater or whatever it is that you've got. We're here to try to answer all your questions.
Mayor, a couple questions for Mr. Phillips. This come from some of the emails that were sent to myself and probably the entire commission. Just some questions, just so it's clear that you can state. Some of the Windridge residents have been concerned that the houses, even though you spoke of the values, when they see Laurel Park, and then they look at their neighborhood, they don't feel like they're comparing apples to apples. Excuse the phrase, but, you know, they have all brick homes. You have a lot of hardy siding shown there. So can you elaborate on that, what your plans are?
Yeah, what we did in Laurel Park is we let the buyers choose. If they choose brick, and if they choose stone, or if they choose hardy. Hardy is not a significant discount to either one. So as far as brick and stone, if that's a requirement by the city, that's not something that adversely affects our project that much. But I personally think we let the buyers choose what they want on their house. Some people like a painted house. They like that look. And so, you know, when you go look at those homes that we built, there's a percentage of them that are brick, percentage of them that are stone, percentage of them that are hardy panel. And I think that brings the uniqueness to the community and makes it as attractive as it is.
So when we talk about that, so they're looking at, they don't want to look at next door and look at a house that's got a back full of hardy side. So in our comprehensive plan that Vice Mayor spoke of, that will bring our standards up, which is something that we've wanted to do as a city, and that's something that I've heard the constituents speak about when I was running for election. They want to see more expensive homes, and they want to see more homes with more brick and rock or hardy board for decorative aspects. So to make it clear, are we talking about all brick, 75% brick and stone, or are we talking about the hardy board majority? I know that you and I had talked about this in the past, and I explained my concerns, and then, you know, just want to make sure that we're clear as far as how we see that.
Well, I mean, to be clear, I guess our proposal is to build the homes based on all masonry material, if that's hardy. If there is a restriction to build brick and stone, like a 75% restriction, that's something that we will do. That's not going to, you know, adversely affect it. We personally think that the hardy is more popular now, and something that a lot of buyers like. But if that's a requirement, we can do that.
Okay. And when we talk about the hydraulic testing, I guess it'd be a question for your engineer and for Mr. McCormick, but I mean, to make it clear, a hydraulic test has to be taken and the standards have to be met.
Correct, yeah.
So,
yes, sir.
And then one of the concerns, and I heard it mentioned, and I think that you might have hit on it, as far as, I know your firm paid to have a traffic study done, and you weren't required to do that because you were under the minimum. And so if there is room, if the easement off of that creek, because I looked at the property, the frontage of it, a right turn into the subdivision coming from the beach area into Goodlettsville, would that be an option for you to take care of that? I think, and my thought behind that is kind of slowing traffic down where traffic is an issue.
Yeah. I can't speak for sure on that. I don't know what the impacts would be in order to be able to do that as far as property that would be required to put that turn lane in.
Okay.
But we're obviously willing to put in the turn lane that is called out as a recommended improvement on the traffic study, which is the left lane in.
Okay. That's all I got right now.
Any more commissioner comments, questions? Mr. Phillips, I'm going to make a comment. I mean, we do like to listen to our citizens and their comments as well. I mean, we value their opinions. And I've talked to several of the citizens, and naturally, none of us want growth. But at the same time, some of the families that live there in the subdivisions adjoining this subdivision you're proposing has made the comment that if you stick with our future comprehensive plan of 75% brick and stone, they don't have near the problem with it, being that we've dropped the density from 114 to 69. And I guess the same comment to Commissioner Gilmore, I kind of want to stick with that comprehensive plan of the at least 75% brick and stone. These people's houses, we want to go up in value. And I understand Hardy's a concrete product, but at the same time, a lot of the adjoining neighbors here's got the same concern with it not wanting Hardy board, I guess is, and I understand if you accent dormers or something, but as Commissioner Gilmore said, I don't think some of these citizens want to look at the back of a whole house of Hardy board. Not everybody's sold on it, or they wouldn't have bought an all brick house. So that's just something I want you to take into consideration as well.
Yeah, we'll agree to that stipulation.
So you do understand that's the future comprehensive plan, and you're agreeing to go ahead and meet them standards?
The 75% brick or stone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any more questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. Phillips.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I do have a comment to make.
Go ahead.
It's okay. So, as a city commissioner and as a member who sits on the Planning and Zoning Committee board, we do receive a lot of emails, a lot of people trying to say what they think is best or just what their opinions are. And I'm a newly elected, so I'm kind of had to learn on the fly because we've had a lot of stuff go on as I was elected in November, me and Commissioner Walker. One thing that was made, we'll just put it out there. So social media is a strong tool today, and it can be used for negative, it can be used for positive. Sometimes more likely it's used for negative to get people's opinions out there. A comment was made on the Goodlettsville page that the only thing that, let's see how it was worded. I'm paraphrasing. So the one thing that developer-backed elected officials hate to hear is the word no. Well, I'm here to tell you as a commissioner, as a citizen, as a business owner, as a first responder and public servant, I have never been backed by a developer, nor will I ever accept that. So let's just clear the air with that now, okay? Nobody's offering me trips to Florida to vote their way, because my wife loves to go to Florida, and nobody else is paying for them but me. There was another email sent that spoke of the city going in debt for sewer infrastructure and for how our cost has not been covered. And so I'm going to ask Mr. Ellis, don't mean to put you on the spot, but if you will touch base to let people know the answers, the facts to that question.
Well, as in any development, the developer would cover the cost of installation of wastewater utility infrastructure within any development. Not only that, but we also collect the building permit, but also the sewer capacity fee that actually goes to future projects such as upsizing pump stations as needed and things of that nature. So right now, our sewer fund or our wastewater fund sits in a very, very, very positive position. So matter of fact, kind of tell you where this stands. The most recent Madison Creek pump station improvements was paid for by cash out of the sewer fund. So,
And is it public knowledge to know, it is public knowledge to know, and I don't know if you know this, or this would be a question for Ms. Julie High, as far as what we have in our sewer fund, and have we ever gone in debt because we do not have the funds to pay for it?
Currently, our net position, which when you account for utilities, you go by the net position of that utility, is about $37 million. Cash on hand of that is about $15 million. Ms. High can correct me if I'm wrong, so I'm right for a change. I'm doing pretty good. We have gone in debt, but the only times that we have really gone in debt in probably the last 12 to 15 years is when we got approved for funding through the state revolving fund, where the interest rates were down like 1 or 2%. So it allowed us to basically borrow money for nothing to maintain our positive fund balance.
Mr. Mayor, I know this is not a most exciting time as being a public official, but I know the one thing that I try to do is I try to make the decisions that is best for the city as a whole. And we have roughly 18,000 citizens in the city. And I don't want to be misunderstood when I say this, because every one of your emails, your phone calls, showing up tonight for the meeting, it does not go unnoticed. But sometimes, I'll speak for myself, what we talk about and what we hear time in and time again is where we want the city to go. We want more retail. We want more restaurants. You know, we want all the different things that the other cities have. And so what we see happen is we see people come out of Windridge subdivision and they go left because we don't have what they like to offer them. Believe me, I want to have restaurants and retail and all those things that come along with it. But one thing that I learned a long time ago is you can't make everybody happy. It's not like Burger King. We can't have it our way all the time. And Lord, I wish we could. And I've spent much time praying. I spent much time thinking about it. I spent much time talking to developers, not only here locally, but also outside of the city, national developers. And that is a pretty piece of property. But at the same time, when we want to go for the bigger lots, and developers don't want to do that because the money doesn't make sense. I heard it said here tonight, and I have friends that are developers, and somebody said, well, they just want to make their money. Well, that's the business they're in. They picked it, you know. I picked to be a fireman. Some days I wish I would have picked another one. The pay's not the best, you know, but that's the business that they chose. I like to say, this opportunity is something that the city has been, the residents have been seeking. Maybe not the ones that are sitting here tonight, but the people that have been sitting, have been talking to us. Why can't we get more expensive homes? Why are we building just apartments? Why don't we stop building apartments? Why don't we build more expensive homes? And the truth is, it's been said before, don't build no more in Sumner County. Build it in Davidson County. Well, I live in Sumner County too, so, I mean, I guess we don't want to give up any land. But I guess the question is do we just want to stop growing? And when we stop growing, then that kind of cuts the legs out from under, so to speak, a little bit. You know, we have city services that are top-notch. We have equipment that we have to keep on the road. Our employees are our prize priority. We want to take care of those. And if we don't have the growth, we don't have the tax base to continue to suffice that, then we're going to start going downhill. I think the city is very conservative with their money, with their spending. I know they have been for 30 years when I worked here for the city. But I think there comes a time where, yes, I personally see growth. It is going to happen. And I think this is a time where we have the opportunity to pick the developer to do work to our standards. To go back on one of the questions somebody said when it came before the Planning Commission the first time. The reason why it came before the Planning Commission the first time and it was turned down is because you had a developer that was from out of town. He wanted to build houses that were not up to par of what we want here in the city. And he wasn't even a residential developer. He was a commercial builder. So why would we want to improve that to come into our city to be the guinea pig for him to do out there on that beautiful piece of property? So, Mr. Mayor, I don't know where we go from here, but after the thought I put into it, I think this is the direction, and I would be willing to make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Gilmore. Before we approve this, I do want to close the public portion of the hearing. I don't think we've done that. So I want to go ahead and close the portion of the public hearing if everyone's through speaking. And then at this time, we will move on to a vote. With that being said, Commissioner Gilmore, you are making the motion now. Thank you, Mr. Gilmore. Do we have a second?
I'll be the second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
No, we need a roll call vote.
Oh, you want to do a roll call?
Oh, it was requested.
Roll
Okay.
call vote with a motion to approve ordinance, or the resolution 251294. Okay, Mayor Tenen,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Duncan,
No.
Commissioner Anderson,
No.
Commissioner Gilmore,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker.
Yes.
All right.
Motion passes.
The resolution has passed with a 3-2 vote. Mr. Ellis, consider Resolution 25-1295, please.
Be right with you. 1295, correct?
Yes, yes,
Okay. Yes?
yes.
A resolution adopting a plan of service for annexation of 45.02 acres on Long Hollow Pike as described in Resolution 25-1294 by the City of Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, this also requires a public hearing if so needed.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Do we have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up the podium again for a public hearing. Anyone who would like to speak on this resolution, please make your way to the podium. Seeing no one making their way to the podium, we'll close this portion of the public hearing and move on to any commissioner comments.
I would just comment, I think we should do a roll call vote for this one as well.
Thank you. Roll call vote. All right, moving on to a vote.
Mayor Tenen,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Duncan,
No.
Commissioner Anderson,
No.
Commissioner Gilmore,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker.
Yes.
Resolution passes with a 3-0 vote. 3-2 vote, I'm sorry. Thank you for the correction. Pretty good.
It's the same.
Mr. Ellis, consider Resolution 25-1296, please.
Give me just 1 second, Mayor. Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, a resolution annexing 1,770 feet of Long Hollow Pike, State Route 174, right-of-way and roadway by the City of Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Planning Commission did not provide a recommendation in this matter and requires a public hearing.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Thank you. We have a second?
Second.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open the podium for the public hearing, please. Anyone who wants to speak, make your way to the podium. Seeing no one make their way to the podium, we'll close this portion of the public hearing. Move on to any commissioner comments.
Mayor, I would just request a roll call vote on this one as well.
Thank you. Moving on to a roll call vote.
Mayor Tinnen,
Yes?
Vice Mayor Duncan,
No.
Commissioner Anderson,
No.
Commissioner Gilmore,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker.
Yes.
Resolution passes with a 3-2 vote. Long night. Mr. Ellis, consider ordinance 25-1127, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of Goodlettsville adopted by ordinance 15851 by changing the zoning of properties on Long Hollow Pike from Sumner County RR, rural residential, to LDR PUD, low-density residential plan unit development and preliminary master plan on first reading. Planning Commission did not provide a recommendation in this matter.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Do we have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move on to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Should we probably do a roll call
Yeah, I
vote
was
just
gonna
for
say, that's probably a
30
good
seconds?
idea. It makes it
Really?
easier.
My minutes will appreciate that. Mayor Tinnen,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Duncan.
No.
Commissioner Anderson.
No.
Commissioner Gilmore,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker.
Yes.
Ordinance passes with a 3-2 vote. Mr. Ellis, consider Resolution 25-1297, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Goodlettsville, Tennessee, approving extension to a grant between the City of Goodlettsville and Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation related to creation of an asset management plan for the city's wastewater utility. Staff recommends approval of Resolution 1297.
Do we have a motion to consider? Thank you. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move on to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes with a 5-0 vote. Mr. Ellis, consider Resolution 25-1298, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, a resolution of the City of Goodlettsville, Tennessee Board of Commissioners requesting the Tennessee Department of Transportation to evaluate further the need for sound walls along Interstate 65 within the City of Goodlettsville and to install said sound walls if they meet minimum requirements. Staff recommends approval of Resolution 25-1298.
Thank you. Mr. Ellis, do we have a motion to consider?
So moved.
Thank you. We have a second.
Second.
You can
Thank you,
take
thank you. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move on to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes. Before we move to adjournment, is there any commissioner comments?
Happy birthday, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much. Great
One
birthday.
last
Cake.
time.
You ready for some cake?
One last time.
Oh, yeah, by the way, there's cake for everybody in the back room. Everybody else
gets cake.
that stayed, you can have cake. Everybody didn't, you're welcome to come eat cake.
Is it low carb?
Yeah.
Hey, is that cake low carb?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah,
Every-
for sure.
Every last calorie.
Well, thank you, Vice Mayor. Thank you, Jesse.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. And Commissioner Gilmore, thanks for bringing the cake. With that being said, no more commissioner comments. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed?